And I guess just to touch on this too, because I think it's such an important topic, we've had in the past, we did a women in leadership panel for the podcast, as well as one for women in VFX. And I've always felt it's really important to touch on that subject because, at least for me, when I first started, it was very male dominated. And I feel like over time, it's started to get a lot more diverse. I'm curious for you, what's that experience been like from early days of being a woman in the VFX industry and how it's changed over time? Like, do you feel like things are starting to catch up a little bit, or do you feel like it's still got a long way to go?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was very fortunate having started at ILM. There were a lot of women leaders there
Great.
across the board in different roles. So I was very lucky to sort of see that and have, folks sort of set that example in terms of what can be achieved, whether they're running whole divisions or within technology or, production, finance across the board. Ironically, I think we had one male executive out of the whole bench, for a minute there. So that was really cool. That being said, yes, I do think that, at DD, at different companies, I think we could probably do a better job in being able to bring in more diverse talent, in terms of more female supervisors and being able to sort of reach into that a little bit better. So we do have different initiatives we're pursuing. There needs to be interest too. What I do realize early on, going out to schools, you go to, an animation centric class, and out of the 30 students, there's 2 females in there.
Mhm.
There also needs to be interest in wanting to be part of certain disciplines. And for instance, effects, which I know is your background, I think I know I can count on one hand, senior effects talent that was a female variety. So, it's really, I do think we still have a long ways to go.
Yeah, it was interesting for me, like in like the late 90s. I felt like when I met a girl who had an email address, it was like, holy crap, like you have email, you use a computer? Because I do think that it just more gender wise, like men tended to do nerdy stuff, and nerdy stuff wasn't so cool back then, whereas now everyone does nerdy stuff, so it's no longer nerdy. So I think you're right, like over time awareness kind of started to sprawl out, so it wasn't so much just being a boys club as it was more about awareness of like all these really fun, fascinating things that people can do. And now, like where I'm working these days, like we've got a pretty balanced team of men, women, trans, and just across the spectrum. It's been kind of good just to see everyone kind of diving in rather than it just being a bunch of guys doing their thing. And yeah,
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. It definitely, there's always going to be room for improvement.
always. Yeah. And I think everybody just sort of needs to do their part to provide and give opportunities. And actually, to your point, bring visibility to our industry and the different opportunities within it.
For sure.